You just asked me the funniest question because you were talking about, I'm so entertained by you and your husband.
I know you are. So I love when I can deliver entertainment. I often have to check on him after I ask him to do something, which might be micromanaging, but it's fine. It's all in the name of love, right?
Give me an example.
So, whenever I'm at home, I sometimes say, hey, don't forget to lock the door on your way out. Just because we live in the country doesn't mean scary movie situations don't happen, right?
Right.
But I could be home doing something else. And I often have to check if he is, listening and actually locks the door. And that's just an example that comes to mind because there's other things I'm sure I could think of.
Okay, let's flip that, though. Are there things, do you think if I asked him, are there things you have to follow up on with Emily? He would say yes or no.
He would say no.
He would say no?
He would probably say no because I'm too crazy or in control of having to make sure things are done.
Oh, so there's control issues. That's what this is.
That's the only way I can describe it, I'm sure. Is it control issues or just responsibility that falls on
too many
mom?
Scary movies. You're like, we live in the country, but scary movie situations can happen in the country.
I've seen The Strangers. Have you seen The Strangers?
I have not.
So, of course you haven't. Of course you haven't.
Do you just sit around and watch movies nonstop? I feel like you've seen every movie.
No, actually, but I did see a good one this past weekend. I think it was good. I don't know. I'm still undecided. But no, I like movies, Kirsch.
I know you do. That's perfectly fine. But not everything that happens in movies comes true.
I know.
So live on the edge. Leave the door unlocked one day and see if somebody chases you into your basement. Would you run to your basement if they were chasing you? Because that's what they do in movies.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't know. Let's hope that never happens because I just that freaks me out thinking about it.
Yeah, don't do that. Kirsch and Emily, Classic Hit Country 103.9, The Maverick. We've talked about this before, Emily. Over the past year or so, I've really backed off of social media. I turned my notifications for Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all of those. I turned them off.
No, and I sometimes post some awesome content for us, and you never say anything. And it kind of hurts my heart a little.
Well, it's because, I used to have those notifications pop up all the time, and then it would suck me back in, and I'd be staring at my phone, and then, 15 minutes went by, and I'm like, I could have been doing this, but now I've been scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. So when I turned them off, man, it was life-changing in such a good way. Now I go there when I want to.
I know. Sometimes I feel so creepy saying this. I'll see when you were active last. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he won't read this meme for another day. Got it.
You are so creepy.
Yep, so creepy. Actually, I think Instagram is the creepy one for showing me that. So.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this, though, that Carrie Underwood learned something from Joe Rogan about post and ghost?
No, what is post and ghost?
Media. So it's a strategy she learned from Rogan. She said, it took me a long time to be secure enough in myself to be like, do I care if somebody doesn't like my hair today or this thing I sang or how I sang it? I don't. So basically you post and then you just forget about it.
That's pretty much how I do it.
Yeah. But it kills engagement. You know how you're supposed to engage to make people see your content and stuff like that?
Yeah, but I don't care about that. I just post, I'm like, hey, maybe my friends or family will see what we were doing or whatever. I don't really care how many people see it. I
do for us. That's what I care about.
Right.
Everything I do, and sit there and go, okay, I have to do this for us, for our show,
So in other words, if you don't follow us on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else we are, please validate Emily's feelings by going to your favorite social media and finding Kirsch and Emily and 103.9 The Maverick. There's my quick little disclaimer.
Thank you for contributing for once. I really appreciate it. On social media. Sorry, on social media. Should have put that disclaimer.
For once. No, that was the deal. We showed up and I'm like, hey, I need you to handle socials because I turned my notifications off and I always forget.
What's comical though is you are so much better at socials than I am. So that's what's funny about the whole thing.
Speaking of Carrie Underwood, you know what? Here, we haven't played Carrie Underwood in a little bit.
Which one are you picking? Choose wisely.
Well, it is National Teacher Week with Kirsch and Emily, Classic Hit Country 103.9 The Maverick. You said, wait a second, you said your friend is the hot teacher?
Okay, yeah. So, when you're like younger, or you always have that teacher you kind of like, you not like a crush or just think is attractive. There's always that teacher.
Yeah. Well, I had one of those.
Yeah. Okay. See, so it's weird when you're an adult because when your friend becomes that teacher, like you just know they're that teacher. I
You
have
have
a
a
friend.
hot teacher friend?
I mean, yeah, I guess we'll call it that. I can't wait for my husband to text me about that now. But
He's like, who's the hot teacher, Emily?
yeah, I know. And it's just, my friend is a very attractive guy. And we all know, we all talk about it in my friend group that he is the one who is probably the teacher that all the kids have a crush on.
Have you ever told him that?
No, but I could text him right now and tell him.
Maybe he's listening. Do you want to
Ask
say his
him.
name? No, don't say his name
No, I'm not
because
gonna
somebody
say
might be
his
listening
name.
who's,
Yes, I'm not going to say his name.
Wonder if your kids are headed to school with the hot teacher.
Okay, come on. It's weird when you're an adult and your friend is that, don't you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. You know what?
No.
You know what was always weird with teachers for me when I was a kid is seeing teachers out in public.
Yes, out in the wild.
Yeah,
That's what
like
we
at the
call them.
grocery store or something like that, where it's like,
Gosh, you have a life.
what?
What is this? Yes, I know. And then do you make conversation?
Well, I mean,
think-
now I do because I know the teachers and we're all like adults.
Okay, but would you have like if you saw your teacher in the grocery store, would you go say
It's
hi
kind
or
of like
would you run
that
away?
shy wave, like, hi.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
You know what's even weirder? When you see your teachers used to have at a bar. That's what's weird.
Well, I don't live near where I grew up, so that's never happened to me,
Okay,
but I
sorry.
could see that
For
happening.
me, when I go back to Hilliard or if I see my teachers somewhere and then I'm like, oh, we can drink together now. That's weird.
That's amazing. It is, as a kid, I always looked at teachers, you think they live at the school or whatever, and then you do see them out in the wild, and it's weird. As an adult, I love the peek behind the scenes with teachers,
Right.
because it's weird as a kid. It's like they're teachers. They're not real people. But teachers are some of my favorite people. They're just,
stories.
They've seen a lot.
Oh, yes, they have. I have to tell you one off air, actually. It's inappropriate for air.
Oh man, you're killing. Can we like bleep it or anything, or is
yeah,
it
we might
just
have to
totally
pre-record that
not
story.
not on air friendly?
I mean, it's on air friendly. It's just we're gonna have to bleep some words. I have to tell you about.
Okay, well we'll talk about that off air. I'll make sure I turn the mics off. Maybe we should go out of studio if you're going to use that kind of language around here.
Yes, maybe we should. Everyone's always listening.
How did we go from teachers to Emily's going to drop the bomb a couple of times in a story?
Because we're unhinged, Kirsch. That's what our show is, and it's
It
fine.
is. Okay, Emily, so here's another one of these terms that came up, and I think this came from where? TikTok, if I'm not mistaken?
Doesn't everything these days.
I think it does. Yeah, it's a TikTok video that started going viral with a term. Like, why do we have to use these terms? Because they mean something totally different outside of travel.
Because people just want to go viral these days and
Okay.
want to just put the most obscure things out there.
So one of the biggest viral terms that came out of 2024 was raw dogging flights, which is just a really kind of uncomfortable way to say avoiding all tech and entertainment while flying, just staring at the seat in front of you or looking out the window while you're on a flight.
Sitting there with your thoughts.
Would you ever
Yes.
do that?
No. No. I don't think
wouldn't
I
either.
could.
I wouldn't either.
And you can't sleep when you do that either. So, yeah, no, that just seems boring.
Well, now there's a sequel to raw
Okay.
dogging. There's a new TikTok that talks about barebacking on a train or a subway, which is
Okay.
commuting without preoccupying yourself with your phone, video games, or even old school stuff like books, newspapers, and magazines. Now, horrible name for it to begin with, but it
Well,
is
not
what
all
it is.
sequels are good, okay, Kirsch?
The thing is, I'll say that could be more entertaining than raw
Yeah, because you
dogging
get to
a
people
flight.
watch.
Right.
There's like the things you would see, you know?
If you're on the
And
L in Chicago, like for instance,
yeah. You sound so hip and like you're in the know with language like that.
that's what it's called, the train in Chicago.
I know, it's just the way you're saying, like you frequent it often. Anyways, I was trying to give you a compliment.
Oh,
okay.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep going.
Last time
if
I
you're
was on
that.
it, a group of youngsters offered me a swig from their bottle of Hennessy.
I hope you didn't take it.
No, God, no.
Okay. I'm just like, I mean, you never know. And you also don't know where people's mouths, it's like a whole thing.
No, I'm not going to take a drink. God
But
knows
yes,
what's
that-
actually in that bottle.
So what you're saying is you're more of a barebacker than a rock hogger. That's what you're saying.
Good Lord, I am not going to agree to either of those.
Just, I think that's what everyone's getting at.
I guess.
That's the general, yeah.
This is the most uncomfortable I've been on air in a long time.
Love it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So don't drink out of the Subway bottle. That's what we learned from this.
Is that?
You know, Emily, I love when you bring up subjects that I just, like, my mind doesn't understand whatsoever. Off air, you just talked about last night's Met Gala.
Yes. Is it gala or gala?
It's whatever it is. Gala,
okay.
Gala, gala, whatever it is.
Whatever you feel like calling it today.
What? You're going to laugh at me. I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it is.
So the easiest way I can describe it is it's a bunch of rich people who dress up in weird clothes and no one knows what goes on inside the Met.
What?
That's the easiest way. So you pay a lot of money for a ticket, right?
Okay.
And it's a bunch of celebrities, stuff like that. They wear obscure outfits to match the theme, which this year's theme was super fine, tailoring black style. It's inspired by the Costume Institute's Spring 2025 exhibit. But they all just dress up really fancy and weird and pay a lot of money for a ticket. And no one knows what goes on behind the doors.
Does the money go to anything, or?
Well, yeah, it goes to the Met, but does it really? We don't know. That's the thing.
Would you go to something like that? Like if that seems really creepy to me. That seems like only bad things could be happening, especially with all the like news that comes out about celebrities and stuff. But like, could you imagine if I said, Emily, hey, I want you to come to my house and we're having a party, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to wear the weirdest thing you own.
Okay.
Like, put together the most insane outfit you could, and everybody else is going to do that. And then we're all going to be inside my house doing God knows what.
Maybe it's less creepy because it's at the Met. I don't know.
Would you come to that party?
No, but the Met intrigues me, but yet also scares me. So it's like really hard to get an invite, right? And then it also can cost up to like $350,000, which is insane for one ticket. Yeah, you're looking at me like, what? I
can't imagine wanting to go to this. Like, what do you think happens?
I think you get initiated into some kind of cult. Yeah.
Okay.
Into some kind of crazy cult.
Honestly,
I know there's like performances and all that stuff, but like, I need to know, what cult is it? It's probably like the rich people cult. What's that called? Illuminati.
The Illuminati? That's
That's what happens.
Well, here's what I'm going to do this weekend. If you want to come over, I'm going to have a party at my house. I want you to wear your weirdest outfit you can come up with.
Kirsch, you and I both are going to be super busy this weekend.
I'm going to have you sign a waiver saying you can't tell anyone what happens at the Kirsch house.
Crazy.
See, it's creepy. Before we get there, there's a story you sent me yesterday that Eric Kirsch got a call from Morgan Wallen after the big Chairgate issue.
Yes, so Morgan called Eric right away, letting him know about the incident of him throwing the chair.
Hey man, I threw a chair off your bar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably how that went.
And Eric was like, what'd you do?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
He was like, Eric goes, I was watching college basketball, why did I just say it like that? And he said, hey, Morgan said, hey, this just happened. And Eric just went, uh-oh. And I just, like, they're very close. I admire their friendship because I think Eric is like a mentor and also has helped Morgan a lot with a lot of his issues. Morgan went down to the chief's staff and apologized and shook everybody's hand, and Eric was proud of him, all that, right? For taking responsibility. So I need to know, not family, who would you call in an uh-oh incident? I'm going to call it.
Not family, who would I call? Like if I threw a chair off a bar and had to call somebody.
Yeah. And an uh-oh incident. Like if you did something crazy to like just to get ahead of it and make it right.
Not family.
Who would you call? Wow. I know mine.
Who would you call?
You.
You would?
You're my no questions asked friend.
Okay, then I'll call you.
Okay. You're just saying that to make me feel better. How rude.
I was gonna say John Boy, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling if I called John Boy and I was like, oh, John Boy, I just threw a chair off the roof of Eric Church's bar and I think I'm going to get arrested, he'd be like, that's okay, Kirsch, I've done worse.
Gets me every time.
It would make me feel better.
See, I would call you because then I would probably get one phone call and then you could call John Boy for me.
And he'd be like, she's in trouble.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how that would go, probably.
That's awesome.
Honestly. Because you guys are besties and I'm not in that club.
You are in that club?
No, I would just...
You just don't like beer. That's why we never invite you.
I like other things. Water exists everywhere. Okay, we're getting off to the subject.
You're Googling something over there. What are you looking up?
I Google everything, which is not a good thing. Don't live by me. How did you survive without Dr. Google?
Without Dr. Google? Oh, like parent-wise, like with kids?
Parent-wise, yeah. Because, look, I don't rely on Dr. Google, but I do usually use it more than I should admit.
I did for a while.
Was Google around when you had kids?
No.
Back in the 1800s?
I had to go into the cave and look on the wall at the carvings in there and see what pictures the ancestors had carved in the wall. No, seriously, Google... I don't like using it for medical stuff because...
If someone's having a heart attack, I'm not going to use it for that.
Well, no, but heartburn, let's say. If I Google heartburn, I know that I ate, a dozen hot wings last night and drank a couple beers, and then I woke up in the morning and I've got heartburn. If I go on Google, I'm like, oh, here's my symptoms. It's like, you need to get to the hospital. You're going to die within the hour. Like that, it's always so extreme.
I wonder how many times that's been said to a doctor in the ER. I Googled my symptoms and this is what it said. Honestly.
I bet it happens I wonder how many people argue with doctors too, because the doctor's like, well, here's what I'm thinking is going on. And they're like, well, Google says.
Probably more than we know about, that's for sure. Than we can think of. It's probably 10 times that number.
What did you end up Googling for your son?
Well, the temperature, I was just thinking about this, how, there's a certain point you hit where they're supposed to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is he at that point with 103 the other day? And he was fine. But yeah. Also, I just don't I know this on five, but other people need the emergency room more than we would for that if I didn't Google it. So,
yeah.
I'm just saying, sometimes it helps.
Yeah, I used to do that, but I gave up on it because everything was so dramatic. It was seriously, it's like, okay, I'm just coming up with this. Oh, I have a little rash on my arm or something like that. And you Google that and it's like, okay, that could be poison ivy, or you could have some infectious flesh-eating bacteria and you're going to die today. It's like there's no in between ever.
And no wonder hypochondriacs are becoming more and more popular.
Right. Seriously.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, don't Google stuff. Just call me, and I'll tell you what my cave painting said back in the day. So, Emily, what is this whole thing with the 100 men versus a gorilla, or 100 men versus where did that come from?
Do you remember that stupid man versus bear thing last year?
Yes.
Okay, well, I feel like it's just along the same lines of that. Someone got really bored and went way back in Reddit and found this question. And so they want to know who would win in a fight, 100 men or a single silverback gorilla. I'm going to go with the gorilla.
I would too, except for the fact that I saw, and this, I can't even believe we're talking about this. This is an online thing if you haven't seen this. And I saw a picture the other day of this where it was a gorilla surrounded by 100 men. Like it was just a drawing.
Okay, I was like, oh no.
And 100 men is a lot of dudes. Like when I actually looked at it, I was like, I don't think the gorilla could win.
I do, because I've seen Tarzan, George of the Jungle.
Because I've seen, you know what, now that you're talking about it, I watched a couple episodes of Curious George with my girls back in the day, and yeah, he could.
Okay, Curious George is not a silverback gorilla.
I've seen Tarzan.
George of the Jungle, Mighty Joe Young, King Kong. Oh, man. Yeah, all those movies. I'm just saying.
King Kong was very gentle with her when he pulled her off the side of the building there.
Not everyone else.
100 dudes is a lot.
I think they would win. If you get in the way of a gorilla wanting something, I'm talking 100 dudes, no weapons, anything, just themselves. And also, that's 100 guys that have to agree on a way to take on the gorilla. Good luck with that, because the gorilla would have already, destroyed at least half of you. Because you all think you're all correct in your own ways.
100 dudes is a lot of guys. I don't know.
But you have to strategize correctly. And then one's going to go rogue, probably more than one.
They're just going to run.
And then someone's going to go,
part in this.
Listen, we don't need another Harambe, which is very true. Oh, man, that just makes me sad still.
Okay, before we go down that path.
I'm just saying.
We can agree to disagree on this one.
Yes, I think the gorilla would win.
I'm going with 100 dudes. You want to give away some Eric Church tickets?
I do. You know what? And if we ever meet Eric Church, I'm going to ask him.
Who's going to win, the 100 guys or the gorilla?
Yep.
He's going to be like, this is the worst interview I've ever done in my life.
Absolutely, but you know what? It'll be worth
Kirsch
it.
and Emily, Classic Hit Country 103.9 The Maverick. How excited are you for Traffic Jam Trivia this morning, Emily?
I'm 50-50. I can't tell if I'm excited, really.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you... I asked ChatGPT to give me two-sentence synopsis for each of my 5 favorite movies of all time. So I'm going to read you what it spit out, and I'm going to see if you can guess the movie.
Fact check this, because you know it's not always correct, right?
It didn't have to fact check it. It gave me really good descriptions of my 5 favorite movies. So I'll give you 5 descriptions and see if you can tell me what movie it is, all right? These are all blockbuster hits, nothing obscure. And let's see how you do. Best of 5. You ready?
Okay, let's go.
All right, number 1. This movie is a sports comedy about a washed-up former bowling prodigy who discovers an Amish bowling phenom and schemes to guide him to $1 million tournament.
The Big Lebowski? Really?
You answered before I was done. Along the way, they face off against eccentric rivals, including the sleazy Big Ern McCracken, who ruined Roy Munson's career. But you already said Big Lebowski, so we'll buzz you on that one.
What is it?
That's Kingpin.
Oh, yeah. No, I've never seen that.
Oh, you need to go watch Kingpin. It's so good. Okay, number 2. Kirsch's favorite movies. This movie is a high-octane 1977 action comedy about a charismatic trucker who races across state lines to smuggle a load of Coors beer with the law hot on its trail. Pursued relentlessly by the bumbling sheriff Buford T. Justice, he teams up with a runaway bride and turns the bootlegging run into a wild Southern fried adventure.
Oh my gosh, I know that name, Buford. Why do I know that name? Wait, is this... Wait, I'm good. Is this Smokey and the Bandit?
There it is. That's Smokey and the Bandit. Good.
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud.
All right, 1 for 2. Number 3, Kirsch's favorite movies. This movie is a 2011 comedy that follows a down-on-her-luck woman whose life unravels as she competes with a wealthy, seemingly perfect rival for the role of a maid of honor at her best friend's wedding. Chaos, jealousy, and outrageous mishaps ensue in this hilarious and heartfelt look at female friendship and insecurity.
Oh my gosh, I know this movie. And this is one of your favorites?
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Is this Bride Wars? No, that's not Maid of Honor. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Final answer, Bride Wars?
Sure. Yeah, I know. What is that movie?
That was Bridesmaids.
Okay, I don't like the way you described that movie.
I do.
I was
going to
say Bridesmaids, but they're technically not competing for Maid of Honor, but okay, whatever.
Okay, let's go with number 4. So you're 1 of 3 so far. This movie is a 1985 sci-fi adventure where a teenager named Marty is accidentally sent back to 1955 in a time-traveling DeLorean invented by the eccentric Doc Brown. Marty must ensure his teenage parents fall in love or risk erasing his own existence.
Back to the Future.
There you go. 2 for 4. Which means you've got to get this one, and I have a feeling you're going to get it. You're about to win Traffic Jam Trivia. You ready?
I should have won with Bridesmaids, so that was not an accurate description.
Kirsch's favorite movies, number 5. This movie is a 1995 animated adventure about a group of toys that comes to life when humans aren't around, focusing on the rivalry between a cowboy doll and a flashy new space ranger. As they battle for their owner's affection, they end up on an unexpected journey that turns them into unlikely friends.
Toy Story.
There you
Such
go.
a cinematic masterpiece. I technically got 4. I'm not counting Bridesmaids out. I really do not like that description because it's wrong.
You said bride wars. All right,
Yeah,
so you
because
did
they compete in Bride
won.
Wars.
You got 3 out of 5 on Traffic Jam trivia.
Just Bridesmaid. Okay, yes. Thank you. Good job, me. Yay.
Kirsch's favorite movies. All right,